What up, guys? This video is going to be a brain dump. I told you guys before, disclaimer, this is literally a artistic brain dump that I just wrote down all the stuff that I would ever, all the stuff that's on my brain that I would want to talk about in a video. So I'm just going to go, so that's the art of it because there's no organization, and I'm going to go through it because there's just stuff that I want to talk about. And you guys will, I think, be interested in all this stuff. There is a lot of stuff from my, like how I look at the world, and it's a brain dump. There's also a lot of stuff about, I'm just gonna read some of the topics really quick. So why I'm doing art/science stuff, kindergarten, Steve Wozniak, simulation, theory of everything, consciousness, our belief system, Markov process and chain, causal power, artist corporations, which is an A Corp, which is an alternative to kind of a C Corp, which is usually how startups are incorporated, which is an interesting one. I don't know how I'm gonna get through all this, but I'll get going. So I'm gonna try to do this in under 10 minutes, again, as usual. So I'm literally just gonna try to read off what the thing is that I put on there and why I put it on there. So I'll try to go back through how I actually put them on there. So first I put on theory of everything is the theory of everything. Basically, that's my theory of everything. And you can look at this equation and man, I really want to go into like all the details of this because this is so deep, just this one little thing, obviously, right? Because that's the theory of everything. And I'm being as sincere as possible right now. If you guys don't take this seriously. It is art, but it is also like, I'm trying to basically do a authentic journal entry in the form of like art kinda, that other people can look at and kind of like experience and then come up with their own ideas of what it means. So, okay, let's go into the theory of everything. So this is an advanced subject in science. I feel like I wanna say, if you're watching this video, then you're already interested in the theory of everything. So I'm just gonna assume that that's probably true or something. My theory of everything is that, first of all, that theory of everything equals theory of everything. So I think that it is a type of algorithm or data model, because what I think a theory is a belief system. So that's why I have our beliefs system on here, and beliefs is in the S is in parentheses, and that is equal to our understanding over time, which is also equal to our experience. And I think that is also in some ways equal to everything else. And how you can think about this, if this is really confusing, I'm hoping that this just reaches the right audience where people will know what I'm talking about. How you can model that and think about the theory of everything, which is also a process. Remember in the last videos we talked about what a process is. And it's basically, you can model it as a functional representation or a function that takes inputs and produces an output. So that's kind of what I already said was the theory of everything. I also said that theory of everything is in some way consciousness, but I think that the consciousness, the way to look at it is it's understanding over time. So that changes at a infinitely continuous level. So that's what I think the actual point of this video, or not video, but like artwork, I think, is number one, to just put it out there. Also, argue for, our job is to reduce dimensionality for other people. So there will be a billion people. Like, I don't think almost anyone will get this. I don't think almost anyone will understand this art or these concepts, because I think I'm not explaining it in a way that everyone can understand. And I think that's actually okay. That's what I want to do, because I want to get people that, I want to get an audience where they do understand this stuff. So, okay, I'll just ignore that. But they will understand if they're the right audience. Okay, so you can look at it as a Markov process. You can also look at a Markov process kind of like as a graph. Okay, I'm just gonna go through everything really quick and see what happens because I only have 5 minutes left. Okay, I'm just gonna read it actually. So why I'm doing art/science in kindergarten, I remember that I liked the art station, which is where you could paint, and I liked the sand and water table. Sand and water table was like you could just play with the sand and the water, and so I think that tells a lot about someone, like what they were interested in it as a kid, because they were like, the brain wasn't fully developed, so they were just more naturally like curious. I don't know, probably. Also, I had this thing where I would like imagine visually in my head all the angles that are coming out of stuff that you could see and how those angles would intersect and bounce off of each other. And I would imagine that all the time. Like I remember like actually going to the bathroom, like back when you didn't have phones, you would just daydream. And that's what I would like look at the tiles and the, every angle that you can see visually and see how, and it predict how they would interact. And I think that's also like how you can model the theory of everything is as a fully connected graph where everything in the world is defined. And I think that's already been theorized in terms of what's his name, Maxwell's whatever. But that's what I think it is. Like the theory of everything is understanding that over time or something like that. The consciousness. Because also I think theory of everything is something that's latent or whatever. And that's how I think you connect the theories of physical reality with like metaphysical theories. It's like how our brains work is that we do have a theory of everything, but everyone's is different. Okay, this is definitely art. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. Steve Wozniak said that in his book, his autobiography, that I'm thinking of like how I could possibly get through all this, and it's impossible. So I'm just gonna try to go faster. Steve Wozniak said that he would rather, like if you are an artist, a tech artist, you should stay away from VCs, you should stay away from like people that are trying to make money, and you should just do your art. And that's, I think, really powerful for him to say that. So just look up that quote. Okay, Elon Musk and talking. So Elon Musk is obviously a really creative person. I think that he takes long pauses. I think that I take long pauses. And I think maybe our brains are similar. That's really, not a modest thought, but I think that they're probably, maybe it's true. That's what I would like to think that, but who knows? It's probably also, there's a lot of stuff to be said about that, but I think it's kind of cool, and I just put it up there. So counting steps to school. I used to count my steps to school in a pattern where I would go 2 steps per block, and if I didn't do it, sometimes I would come back and do the steps again. So maybe I'm autistic or something like that. But I don't want. This is art again. Art. I don't know. So this is a brain dump. VTE, simulation, theory of everything. Our job is to reduce the dimensionality. This is a really abstract piece of art. Phi causal power. So look up causal power. It's how you can measure consciousness. That's a graph thing. Art is subjective. Teach the best models of everything. Decide together what the best is in principle. In private data. Earn based on creativity. Use measure of impact, positive impact, to determine resource allocation / value capture. Then I have the symbol, which is love over money equals hashtag. Something like a new idea, which is a symbol, together with an artist corp or something like that. By the way, we have to be optimistic about this. So I have optimism, and then I put some letters or changed it so that it says optimizer, because I think what AI is like ultimately an optimizer. Be optimistic about those things, and I think that's part of the our belief system. We have to be optimistic. Okay, I think that also plays into forgiveness, which is I hope you forgive all the stupid shit that I'm saying in this brain dump. That's over 10 minutes. Okay, dude, this is gonna be wild. Also, okay, so I have a pretty risque song that I think I might actually edit some parts of that out. I'll try to put it at the end. Also, I'm gonna put more videos, I think, in my, what's it called? My Buy Me a Coffee or maybe Patreon or something. But tell me what you guys, I'm really curious, like, what you guys would actually pay for monthly that you think that I could talk about. This stuff is crazy. That's why, again, disclaimer, this is art. Probably nothing is true that I've said on here. I didn't even get to half of what I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, and the other thing, if you're really interested in the tech part and not the brain science, consciousness, theory of everything part, I think what we really need to, a big problem to solve is authentication and certification of data passing. I think you can look at that as a Markov chain. Causal power is like really important because we are, I think, going towards a world where we're going to be more connected or more, and we need to understand what is causing what. And the more we can be transparent about with each other and trust each other and just like be able to talk about stuff that I think really matters, but it's hard to talk about, kind of the real purpose of this art is. So, okay, boom. Hopefully that's not too crazy.